Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Newmarket Racecourse here on Thursday. It's the 13th of July, 2023. Gonna look at all the races, or almost all the races, here on day one of the July Cup meeting from Newmarket. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and join me today for my Saratoga opening day preview. That video is live right now, so go check that out. I looked at all the races for that card also, and throughout the meeting I'm planning on looking at all the races, so keeping track on that. It's going to be an exciting Saratoga meeting. Also, I'm going to look at the Newmarket races this week and culminating Saturday with the July Cup, so be on the lookout for my July Cup preview, and a little bit more European races in France tomorrow. It's Bastille Day at Longchamp and France in general. So tomorrow's the Grand Prix de Paris Day, so I'm going to look at that race. Looks like it's going to be an exciting one, so check that preview out. But we have 7 races to look at. The only race we're not going to look at is the 410, the 5th race. It's very tough for 2-year-old race. We'll skip that over. But let's get to the first race, the 150, which is in the top 10 of probably my favorite races in the UK for the flat. It's the Group 3 Bahrain Trophy. Group 3 event for Class 1 horses, going for a $240,000 purse. Races for 3-year-olds here. Field of 6 horses, going the distance of ground of, 2,600 meters or a mile 5/8 on the turf course. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 4-horse St. George. I'm going to go 4-1-6 in your tri-cash trifecta. 4-1-6 tri-cash trifecta, top selection of 4-horse St. George, 3-year-old called by Roaring Lion, Andrew Balding trains, Kieran Fallon gets the mount for Qatar. The horse's most recent outing came 21st of June at at Ascot, mile 3/4 in the Group 2 Queen's Vase, and the horse finished second by 2.5 lengths behind Gregory, who stayed the trip well. This horse, he was on the drive, he was excelling that day. I didn't think he ran half bad. Coming here to Newmarket, a furlong less, could be forwardly paced, has proven he has staying ability. I'm going to give him a shot here on the ticket. A lot of these horses that run in this race come out to be your future stayers of the your future stayers here, and this is a kind of a good prep race for the St. Ledger coming up in about 8 weeks time, something like that. So keep an eye for this one. Talking about the St. Ledger, he ran over the St. Ledger trip at Doncaster, mile 13/16 in a Class 2 handicap. He won by 2 lengths that day, and basically he stalked that day. He got under the drive and he excelled, quickened up nicely with Fallon up. Nothing bad about that race there. And then the 6th of April, Seville, mile 3/8 in a Class 5 novice race. He won by a half a length that day, and from a tracking trip, he took off clear. Very, very good run. He's been improving for every single race this season. He likes, as the trips get longer, he gets better. I'm going to give him a shot here on the ticket of 5-2. I think the 1-horse Castle Way is your second likeliest winner for William Buick and Charlie Outby and Godolphin. Most recently ran on the 5th of May in Newmarket, a mile and a quarter in a class in a listed stakes, and the horse won by 1 3/4 lengths and had speed from the inside to win that day. On the drive and excelled. Good run there. Prior to that, a Class 2 handicap in Newmarket over the mile and a quarter as a 2-year-old. He won by 3 lengths, and again, he just took off clear. He's another horse I think he should definitely get the staying trip with the Almanzor here. I'm going to give him a shot here at 3-1 on the ticket, second off the bench. But I think St. George is more proven over the staying trip. But both horses using the place pot. But to recap my selection of the first, the 150 from Newmarket's Group 3 Bahrain Trophy. Gonna take the 4-horse St. George. Give kudos to the 1-horse Castle Way. 4-1-6 tri-cash trifecta. 4-1 in your multi-race. The second race at 225. It is the Group 2 Kingdom of Bahrain July Stakes. It's a Group 2 event for Class 1 horses, going for a $120,000 purse race for 2-year-olds here. Field of 9 horses, going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the turf course. Gonna take the 6-horse Mountain Bear as a top selection. 6-2-3 in your tri-cash trifecta. 6-2-3 tri-cash trifecta, top selection 6-horse Mountain Bear. This 2-year-old colt by No Nay Never. And O'Brien trains. Ryan Moore gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 30th of June at the Curragh, 6 furlongs in a 2-year-old main race, and the horse won by a length that day, and he was under the drive and excelling. He quickened up nicely there. An all-around good, strong performance. Coming here to the UK, he has that strong stalking ability. I think he can improve and get a good race here today to win. 2 back around the 7th of June at the Curragh, 6 furlongs in a main race. He finished 6 by 7.5 lengths that day, and he was just a little lackadaisical. He never really got going. I do think he needed the racer experience. He really quickened up next start out. Coming here, like I said, forwardly paced. You have that tough final furlong here in the July course. I think he can run well. I'm going to use him. I think your second likeliest winner is the 2-horse Jasur for Jim Crowley and Clive Cox. He's 20 to 1 here. I know he's an outsider, but I like his victory at Nottingham against very less quality horses, going 5 furlongs in a Class 5 main race. He won by a half length and basically wanted to gallop. A very easy run for him that day. Prior to that, on debut at Salisbury, going 5 in a Class 4 novice race, he finished second by a neck that day, and he just missed late, but he ran his heart out there on the front end. He's run 2 good races that definitely can win against these horses. He doesn't have the best pedigree here, but stranger things have happened. 20 to 1 in a wide open race. I'll give him a shot on the play spot. To recap my selection now for the second, the 225 from Newmarket to Group 3 July Stakes. Gonna take the 6-horse Mountain Bear. Give kudos to the 7-horse Jasur. 6-2-3 Tricast Trifecta. 6-2 in your multi-race. The third race, the 3 o'clock, it is the Bet365 handicap. It's a Class 2 Heritage handicap going for $120,000 purse. Race for 3-year-olds here. Horses rated 0 to 105. 17 horses are going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the July course. My top selection, I'm going to take the 11-horse Animate as a top selection. 11-5 in your forecast exacta for me. 11-5 forecast exacta. Top selection 11-horse Animate. This 3-year-old gelding by Chamardal. Simon Ed Christopher trains. Andrea Tazzini gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came last week, the 1st July at Newcastle. 6 furlongs on a Class 2 handicap. And the horse finished second by a head that day. And he was with them early on. He had a decent turn of foot. And facing the big boys that day, he stayed the trip well. He didn't go down without a fight. Coming here a little less weight, 117 pounds. Should definitely has some forwardly pace. He should definitely get a trip to win here today. Prior to that at Kempton, 7th of June, 7 furlongs in a Class 4 handicap. Finished third by 5 lengths that day. He was very wide, and he just never really got going. I just do think the 7 was just a little bit too long for him that day. He won going 7 at Wolverhampton, but that's because he had the speed from the inside, which is killer there, especially going 7. He won by a neck. He was all out, and he got the job done. A good, very easy victory that day. They tried him over a mile at Haydock before that, his last race on the green stuff, where he just never really got going. He kind of hit the wall late. Back to 6. That's what he wants to do. He might be bred for a mile, but in reality, he wants to go 6. Back to it today. Back to the green stuff. Drawn well. Gets a good handicap. I'm going to give him a shot on the ticket. I think the 5-horse Washington Heights for Ryan Moore and Kevin Ryan's your second likeliest winner. Most recently last month on the 17th of June at York, 6 furlongs in Class 2 Heritage handicap. The horse finished second by a head that day, and again, he just missed late, but at 6-1, Jamie Spencer rode a terrific race. He was traveling very good. Prior to that, Newmarket 6 furlongs in a Class 2 handicap. Again, he finished second by length. I thought he won the 7 furlongs off of that trip, but again, he was traveling decently on the front end. And then in Newmarket 6 furlongs in a Class 2 handicap, he finished second by 2 3/4 lengths. And again, he plodded along. He got beat by slightly better horse Shaquille that day, but I've seen worse races. The race before that on soft ground at Thirsk was quite horrible. But that was first off the bench and not really excelling. But coming here, getting Ryan Moore up, I think he can win here. I'll use him on the ticket. But to recap my selection for the third, the 3 o'clock from Newmarket, it's Bet365 Heritage Handicap. Going to take the 11-horse Animate. Give kudos to the 5-horse Washington Heights. 11-5 forecast exacta. 11-5 in your place pot or your quad pot that begins with this race. So let's get to the 4th race now. The co-featured 335, which is the Group 2 Princess of Wales Stakes. It's a Group 2 event for Class 1 horses going for a purse of $150,000, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 4 horses, going 2,400 meters or a mile and 1/2 on the July course. I'm going to take a shot with the 4-horse Asar as a top selection. 4-2-3 in your Tricast Trifecta. 4-2-3 Tricast Trifecta. Top selection of 4-horse Asar. 4-year-old colt by Mahar here. Jonathan Gazan trains. Jim Crowley gets the mount. Excuse me. The horse's most recent outing came the 17th of June at York, a mile 3/4 in the listed stakes, and the horse finished second by 1/2 lengths that day, and he just couldn't stay that extra 2 furlongs that day. I think it just got to him, cutting back to a mile and a half. It is quite a tough mile and a half event, but I think he has the ability to win here as long as the ground doesn't show up lightning soft. If it's lightning fast, it's to his liking. Prior to that, he ran quite quick ground on Newberry, mile and a half in the Group 3 Al Rain Stakes. He finished second by a nose, and he was closing up well late. He just missed, but he ran his heart out that day first off the bench, and then on ground he absolutely detested it. Doncaster, a mile and a half in a Class 2 handicap last November. He finished 12th by 22 lengths. The poster at 21 wasn't also helpful. He just never really got going. 2 weeks prior to heavy ground at Doncaster, a mile and a half in a Class 2 handicap. He won by 3.5 lengths. He was on the front end. Again, probably not excelling on the good ground, but he got the job done. And then his final start of the summer last year at Ascot, a mile and a half in a Class 2 handicap. He finished third by 4.5 lengths that day, and he just kind of hit the wall. Something must have went amiss because you didn't see the horse for 5 months after, or 4 months after. But refreshing here, back to a mile and a half, which you should do well with. I'm going to give him a shot. Your second likeliest winner is the 2 horse at Dayar. He ran last time out in the Prince of Wales at Ascot, where he finished third by 4.25 lengths, and he just couldn't catch the winner, who just had the jump and really ran terrifically. This horse just was flat. He runs these clunkers sometimes. Prior to in the Gordon Richards at Newmarket, he won by 2.25 lengths, and he was off the board easily, the winner there, and then had a very good place in last year's Champion Stakes, a second off the bench behind Bay Bridge. But coming here today, a little bit quick round finally. I think he can win also. 1-2, I'll give him a shot, but I think a Sour is going to be a better price and a more likely winner, I think. I think he has more ability under his belt so far this season. But to recap my selection for the fourth, the 335 for Newmarket, it's co-featured Group 2 Princess of Wales Stakes. Going to take the 4 horse Asar. Give kudos to the 2 horse Adayar. 4-2-3 Tri-Cash Trifecta. 4-2 in your multi-race. Now the 5th race, we said earlier, the 410. It's a very tough 2-year-old race. We'll skip over that one and head over to race number 6. The 445, which is the Sir Henry Cecil Stakes. It's a listed stakes for Class 1 horses, going for a $60,000 purse, race for 3-year-olds only. Field of 6 horses, going 1,600 meters or a mile on the turf course. My top selection here, I'm going to go with the number 5 horse, Nostrum. 5-2-3 in your Tri-Cash Trifecta. 5-2-3 Tri-Cash Trifecta. Top selection of 5 horse Nostrum. This 3-year-old colt by Kingman, John Manon, Sir Michael Stout trains. Ryan Moore gets the mount. Hasn't been seen since Dewhurst at Newmarket, 7 furlongs on the 8th of October, where he finished third by 3.25 lengths behind Shaladine that day, who, came back to Newbury in the spring, where it really ran horrible. We all know he didn't start out after that, winning terrifically, but, Shaladine last year really ran well. This horse, he just never really got going. I do think he gets better with a mile trip. 7 maybe just wasn't to his liking. Coming to the 3-year-old campaign, not the world's toughest horses, he should get a good forward trip to win. Prior to that, Newmarket, 7 furlongs in the Group 3 Tattersall Stakes, he won by 1.25 lengths, and again, he settled well. He was on the drive and excelling, an all-around ease race, getting Ryan Moore back up, and then last July at Sandown, 7 furlongs in a Class 4 main race, he won by 3 lengths that day, and he had a little bit of a wide trip, but he overcame that to quicken up nicely. Coming here today, I know he's a short price, but he's a very likely winner. In the multi-race to end it off, he's going to be my single. But to recap my selection for the 6th, the 445 from Newmarket's the Sir Henry Cecil Stakes. Going to take the 5 horse Nostrum. 5-2-3 in your Tri-Cash Trifecta. Let's get to the 7th race, Nightcap, the 520, which is the Boodles Handicap. It's Class 3 handicap, going for a $36,000 purse, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Horses rated 76 to 95. 10 horses are going 1,600 meters or a mile on the turf course. Going to take the number 8 horse here, Glenfinnan. I'm going to go 8-2-9 in your Tri-Cash Trifecta. 8-2-9 Tri-Cash Trifecta. Top selection 8 horse Glenfinnan. 3-year-old colt by Harry's Angel, excuse me. Pardon me, it's been a very long day. But the real quote by Harry's Angel, Andrew Bowling trains, Rob Hornby gets the mount. Horse hasn't been seen since the 15th of September. That came at Yarmouth, 1 mile Class 4 main race. He stepped out in class to get the victory, and he finally got it in start number 3. He won by 2 lengths, 67 cents to the dollar favorite. Everybody and his mother knew he was going to win. He didn't change his lead so easily that day, but he got the job done. A good run. Coming here, not the world's toughest handicap. He should get a good trip on the outside, and I think he could win today. He ran terrifically during the Ebor meeting at York last summer, 7 furlongs in a Class 2 handicap. He finished second by half a length, and he stalked that day. He had a decent turn of foot. Desert Order had the jump on him, but he outran his 33 to 1 odds that day. Nothing bad about that run. And then on debut in July last year, Newbury, 6 furlongs in a Class 5 main race. He finished 4th by 2 3/4 lengths. And again, he never weakened out of it, but never quickened up either. He just kind of plodded along, running an okay effort. But he's definitely improved with every single race. His speed figures could win against these horses. It's not the world's toughest handicap. I'll give him a shot on the ticket. The 2 horse Darkness for Callahan and David O'Meara win also. He ran last month at York, going 7 in a Class 3 handicap, where he finished 7 by 7 3/4 lengths that day, and he just never was really excelling that day. The race a week prior at Goodwood, going 7 in a Class 3 handicap, could definitely win. He finished second by nose, and he just missed late, but he was traveling decently. And then during the Derby meeting at Epsom, 7 furlongs in a Class 3 handicap, he finished second by half length, just run a little bit too wide, which probably cost him, but he ran his heart out. His form hasn't been half bad as of recently. He's run races fast enough to can win. I know 140 pounds on his back is quite high, but he could definitely win. I'll use him here on the ticket. But to recap my selection for the nightcap, the 7th race, 520 from Newmarket, gonna take the 8 horse Glenfinnan. Give kudos to the 2 horse Darkness, 829, Tricash Trifecta. Let's go 8-2 in the multi race. So good luck to all. Remember to check out my Saratoga preview for opening day, and follow me throughout the weekend for some more Newmarket previews, and follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.